Okay, so you've sent in this collection of articles about Helsinki, Finland's capital.
Yeah.
And it seems like you're trying to get a real grasp on what the city's all about.
Right.
Whether you're thinking of actually planning a trip or just want to be more knowledgeable about it.
Yeah.
We've got a whole mix here, must-do lists, hotel recommendations, and just general impressions of the city.
I think it's a pretty good mix to get started with.
Yeah, and our aim here is to really pull out the most interesting bits for you, the useful nuggets, and maybe even uncover a few surprises along the way.
Yeah, I think you'll be surprised by some of this.
Yeah.
One thing that jumps out right away is that Helsinki is a city that attracts a lot of people.
Yeah.
Over 4 million visitors a year.
Wow.
And your sources really emphasize its culture, that striking architecture, and of course its coastal setting.
Right.
It really paints a picture of a city with a lot to offer.
Exactly. And looking at all this material, what really struck me was how much variety there is in what you can actually do there. You've got these significant historical sites that transport you back in time.
Yeah.
And then you've got these more relaxed activities.
Right.
Where you can just soak up the atmosphere.
Yeah, just enjoy the vibes.
Yeah, exactly. And you've flagged a ton of possibilities.
Absolutely.
So we're going to focus on some of the key ones to give you a real taste of Helsinki.
Yeah, I think focusing on these highlights is a good approach.
Okay.
Given the amount of material, it's a good way to get an overview.
Yeah.
A foundation, if you like, and then you can explore specific areas in more depth later if you want to.
Great. So let's start with a couple of the real iconic landmarks of the city. Helsinki Cathedral and Suomenlinna Sea Fortress. Now, the cathedral is right on Senate Square.
Okay.
It's an evangelical Lutheran cathedral built between 1830 and 1852 as a tribute to Tsar Nicholas I of Russia.
Wow. That's quite a history.
Yeah.
Right there in the architecture.
Yeah. And it was designed by Carl Ludwig Engel in a neoclassical style. So think, grand scale, symmetrical design, lots of columns, and it has this tall green dome.
Oh, wow. 4
smaller domes and apparently some really ornate interiors.
And it's free.
It is free
to
enter, and it's open daily.
Every day.
With longer hours in the summer.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is great. And it's actually wheelchair accessible through the cathedral crypt.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah, so very impressive.
When you think about it being dedicated to the Russian Tsar,
right,
it really highlights that kind of interesting period of Finnish history under Russian rule, but being autonomous at the same time.
Right.
And these kinds of architectural choices often reflect the political landscape of the time, the fact that it's free and accessible, really shows its role as a central landmark for everyone.
Then we have Suomenlinna, which sounds like a real adventure.
I've heard good things.
It's an 18th century sea fortress on an island just off the coast.
Oh.
And your sources talk about centuries-old cannons, defensive walls, and these scenic walking trails with sea views.
Wow. Sounds beautiful.
There's a specific blue walking pass, which is about a mile long, that connects the main sites.
Okay.
Including something called the King's Gate.
I wonder what that looks like.
Yeah, and there are apparently information signs dotted around.
Okay.
And you could also visit the Suomenlinna Museum to really delve into its 260-plus year history.
That's a lot of history.
Yeah, and the cheapest way to get there is the HSL ferry from Market Square.
Okay.
Which is covered by a regular public transport ticket.
Oh, so it's easy to get to.
It is easy to get to.
And affordable.
Yeah. And just a heads up, comfortable shoes are definitely a must.
Yeah.
With all the cobblestone paths and riot trails.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Suomenlinna really highlights Helsinki's connection to the sea.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a defensive structure, Its location made it a strategically important place for centuries. And that really influenced the development and the security of Helsinki as a port city.
It makes sense.
And the ferry ride itself
gives
you a totally different perspective on the city skyline.
Oh, I bet.
I always think it's interesting to see a city from the water.
Yeah.
And anyone who's spent a day, exploring historic sites knows that comfortable shoes can really make or break the experience.
Absolutely.
You don't want to be thinking about your feet when you're trying to take in the sights.
Now, here's something that stood out to me as a great way to get your bearings in the city.
Okay.
Your sources recommend taking a free walking tour.
Oh, that's cool. I love a free walking tour.
Yeah, and apparently they start at Senate Square near the cathedral.
Okay.
And they go all the way to the Udi Library, hitting over 10 famous spots along the way.
Wow.
Including the National Library of Finland Market Square and Esplanadi Park.
It sounds really comprehensive.
Yeah. And these tours are led by English-speaking guides.
Great.
And they last about 2.5 hours.
That's a good length, I think.
Yeah, so again, comfy shoes and some water are a good idea.
Always good advice.
And tipping the guide is appreciated.
Of course.
So a free, locally led intro to the city seems like a no-brainer to me.
It's a great way to get an overview, see the key landmarks, and get insights from someone who really knows the city.
Right.
And, without any upfront cost.
Exactly.
It's a good way to then decide what you want to explore further.
Absolutely.
Do your sources say anything about group sizes on those tours?
That's a good question.
Or just what the general experience is like?
They don't mention group sizes specifically.
Okay.
But they do talk about the guides being really knowledgeable and enthusiastic.
That's good to hear.
So that's encouraging.
Yeah.
Now, beyond the big landmarks, Helsinki seems to have some pretty unique experiences on offer.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
For example, having a drink on the Relander's Grund boat.
That sounds intriguing.
It's a former lighthouse vessel built back in 1888.
Wow.
And it's now moored in the cabin.
Oh.
And during the summer months, from May to September, its top deck transforms into a terrace with city views, including the Uspensky Cathedral.
That's cool.
Imagine that.
Yeah, what a unique spot for a drink.
Right.
That's a fantastic example of a city repurposing its history in a creative way for modern enjoyment.
Yeah.
Imagine sitting on this former lighthouse tender, taking in the city views.
Yeah.
You wouldn't find that just anywhere.
It's so unique.
And the fact that it's only open in the summer makes it even more special.
Yeah.
Like a real summer treat.
Now, if you're thinking of things to do with kids, your sources mention Helsinki Zoo, which is on an island.
Oh, wow.
And it's home to over 150 animal species.
That's impressive.
Like Amur tigers, Asiatic lions, and European brown bears.
Oh, wow. So many different animals.
It's open daily, and you can get there by tram, bus, and even ferry.
Oh, wow. So many options.
Yeah, which adds to the adventure, I think.
Absolutely.
And they also offer guided tours, if you're interested.
That's good to know.
Another option is the Finnish Museum of Natural History.
Oh, I love a good natural history museum.
Me too.
What kind of exhibits do they have?
Well, they've got exhibits on Finnish nature.
Okay.
The history of life. And even dinosaur fossils.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's plenty to keep kids and adults entertained.
I think I'd enjoy that one.
Yeah, me too.
What stands out to me is the variety.
Yeah.
The zoo being on an island accessible by so many different types of transport makes just getting there part of the experience.
Yeah.
And the Natural History Museum, with dinosaur fossils, that has universal appeal.
It does.
It suggests that Helsinki really takes families into consideration when they're planning their attractions.
Yeah, for sure.
They've thought about it.
And if you're a sports fan...
Okay, I'm listening.
Helsinki has got you covered, too.
Tell me more.
Ice hockey is huge there.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And while the national team plays at Hartwall Arena, you might also be able to catch a game of Helsingin Jokerit, which is a professional team playing in Mestis.
What's Mestis?
It's the league just below the top professional level in Finland.
Oh, okay. So they're pretty good then.
Yeah.
Like a high level.
Yeah. They play at the Helsinki Ice Hall.
Okay.
And you can get tickets through their website.
Sounds easy enough.
Yeah. Sounds like a great way to really experience that local passion for the sport.
Yeah. Like a real authentic experience.
Yeah.
It's interesting how your sources point to this. While the national team might be the most well-known, going to a local Mestis game offers a really authentic slice of Finnish ice hockey culture.
Yeah.
You'd be among the locals.
Right.
Witnessing their enthusiasm firsthand.
Now, of course, you can't talk about Finland without mentioning saunas.
Oh, yeah.
Helsinki has a ton of them.
I bet.
But Alice Pool, right next to Market Square, seems pretty noteworthy. Okay. It's got 5 saunas, including a unisex one and a landscape sauna with sea views.
Oh, wow. A sea view sauna. That's fancy.
And apparently, a key part of the Finnish sauna culture is the chance to take a dip in the Baltic Sea or a cold plunge pool afterwards.
Oh, wow. That sounds
invigorating.
Invigorating is one word for it.
Yeah.
But what's really significant here is how culturally important the sauna is in Finland.
Yeah.
It's not just about relaxation.
Right.
It's a social tradition, deeply ingrained in their identity.
Yeah.
And Alice Pool, with its central location and the variety of saunas it offers, including the sea view and the cold plunge option, sounds like a fantastic place to immerse yourself in that tradition.
For anyone who loves souvenirs or just wants to soak up the local vibe.
Right.
Helsinki Central Market.
Okay.
Kapatori in Finnish.
Kapatori.
At Market Square seems like the place to be.
Okay.
Your sources say it's got everything from food to handicrafts to those traditional souvenirs.
Oh, cool.
And it's also where the ferries to Helsinki's islands depart from.
Okay.
Apparently lunchtime is a good time to go for food, or earlier if you want to avoid the crowds.
That's good advice.
You might find some authentic Finnish crafts, like reindeer leather goods.
Oh, wow.
And, of course, Moomin merchandise.
Of course. Gotta have the Moomins.
Yeah.
You know, central markets are often the beating heart of a city.
Yeah.
And Helsinki seems to be no exception.
Right.
It's where locals and visitors mix. You can sample the local food.
Right.
And you can find those really unique items that tell a story about the culture.
Exactly.
And the fact that it's also a ferry departure point really highlights that central connecting function within the city and to the surrounding areas.
Now, this might surprise you.
Okay.
For a northern capital, Helsinki actually has beaches.
Beaches, really?
Yeah.
In Helsinki.
Aurinkolahti Beach, in the eastern part of the city,
Okay.
offers a sandy shore and sea views.
That's cool.
And Hayataranta Beach is closer to the city center.
So there's a few options.
Yeah. And the sources even mentioned that a light jacket is a good idea.
Oh, wow. Even in summer.
Even in the summer, because of the sea breeze.
It's good to be prepared.
Yeah, who knew?
This really challenges some of the assumptions people might have about a Nordic capital.
Right.
It suggests a more relaxed and outdoorsy lifestyle.
Yeah, for sure.
And that reminder about the sea breeze, even in summer.
Yeah.
It's a good practical tip to keep in mind.
Definitely.
For when you're planning your trip.
Now, for some fun and thrills.
Okay.
There's Linnanmäki Amusement Park, which is Finland's oldest and most popular.
Cool.
It's located in the Alpila Quarter.
Okay.
And what's interesting is that admission is free.
Free admission?
Yeah.
Wow, that's unusual for an amusement park.
You do have to pay for the rides with passes or wristbands.
Okay, that makes sense.
But they've got this mix of traditional and modern attractions.
Oh, like what?
Well, they've got a wooden roller coaster built in 1951, which is actually one of the oldest operating wooden roller coasters in the region.
That's pretty cool.
And then they've got more modern adrenaline pumping rides.
Okay, so there's something for everyone.
Yeah, and the Panorama Tower offers free 360-degree views of Helsinki.
Oh, that's nice.
Free admission to an amusement park is definitely not something you see every day.
It's really cool that it's run by a nonprofit organization.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and all the proceeds benefit children's welfare.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's a nice touch, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
And that combination of, classic and modern rides and the free panoramic view makes it appealing to a wide range of visitors.
It does.
Even if you're not a thrill seeker, you can still enjoy it.
Exactly. And finally, your sources point out how easy it is to take a day trip to another capital city.
Oh, wow.
Tallinn, Estonia.
Really?
It's just a 2-hour ferry ride from Helsinki.
That's so convenient.
Tallink Silja runs multiple ferries daily.
Oh,
so you've got plenty of time to explore Tallinn's attractions.
Like what kind of attractions?
Well, they mentioned Tumppi Castle and Tallinn Town Hall.
Oh, wow.
Return ferry tickets are around 41 euros.
That's not bad at all.
And again, comfortable shoes are essential for exploring Tallinn's old town.
With all those cobblestone streets, I know all about that.
A 2-for-1 capital city experience.
That's tempting.
Pretty tempting, right?
This really shows how strategically located Helsinki is within the Baltic region and its strong connections to neighboring countries.
Yeah.
It's so easy to just hop over to Tallinn.
Right.
And it opens up a whole other world of cultural and historical exploration.
It does.
In such a short distance.
Yeah.
And those cobblestone streets in Tallinn's old town are beautiful, but they can be a bit tough on the feet.
So taking it all in,
Yeah.
Helsinki really comes across as a city that blends its history with this vibrant modern energy.
Yeah.
It offers this amazingly wide range of experiences.
Right.
From cultural landmarks and relaxing saunas to family-friendly attractions, and even that international day trip.
Exactly. If you pull all this together, Helsinki presents itself as this well-rounded and accessible destination with a strong sense of its own identity.
Yeah.
It draws on its history, its beautiful coastal location, and its really dynamic contemporary culture to offer something for everyone.
We've really taken a deep dive into this Helsinki information.
Yeah, we've covered a lot.
We've hit the key attractions like the cathedral and Suomenlinna, some of the more unique experiences like the Relandersgrund boat.
Yeah, that was cool.
And all those practical tips.
Right.
Getting around and enjoying the city.
Making the most of your time.
We've also touched on some of the maybe less expected things.
Yeah.
Like the beaches and the easy access to Tallinn.
It's amazing how much a relatively small city like Helsinki has to offer.
Yeah.
It just shows the value of looking beyond the initial tourist brochures.
Yeah.
And really digging into what a city has to offer.
It's fascinating how one city can cater to so many different interests and travel styles.
It really is.
Whether you're into historical exploration, outdoor adventures, or cultural immersion. Helsinki seems to have it all.
This raises an interesting question for you.
Okay.
Thinking about everything we've discussed, what aspect of Helsinki has piqued your curiosity the most?
Yeah.
Was it the history of Suomenlinna? Maybe the unique charm of having a drink on that lighthouse boat?
Yeah.
The family-friendly attractions?
Right.
Or the idea of that quick trip to Estonia?
Right.
Perhaps it was the Finnish sauna culture that resonated the most.
It's a tough choice.
So many options.
We hope this deep dive has given you a solid overview and some genuine insights into Helsinki.
Absolutely.
There's clearly so much more to explore.
Definitely.
And we encourage you to dig deeper into whatever's caught your attention.
Yeah.
Maybe check out the routes of those free walking tours, the history of the Relanders Grin boat,
Yeah.
or what events are on at Lingenmäki
Good idea.
when you're thinking of visiting.
And here's a final thought for you.
Okay.
You know, Helsinki is surrounded by over 300 islands.
Right. It's right there in the title.
Yeah. How might venturing out to explore some of those islands offer an even richer understanding of Finnish culture and the unique geography of the region?
Yeah.
Beyond the mainland attractions we've talked about today.
That's something to think about.
Definitely.
Lots to explore.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.